high expectations for yourself or for others? And does that cause you to have disappointment, to feel disappointed? This is like a human thing, right? We all have expectations. We have expectations of other people that they'll behave in a certain way, do a certain thing, say something, and then when they don't do it, we get disappointed. But the bigger disappointment actually comes from the expectations we have for ourselves and when we don't meet those expectations. Now, some people don't have a lot of expectations for themselves, and others have huge expectations for themselves. So the bigger the expectations, the bigger the disappointment. And there are a lot of people who would advise you to stop having expectations. I've heard that over and over and over again. Stop having expectations and then you won't be disappointed. But the thing is that disappointments are helpful. Not disappointments, expectations. Yeah, disappointments are not so helpful, but expectations are very helpful. There are studies that show that parents who have high expectations for their kids have kids that rise to those expectations. It's the same for ourselves. If you don't think the Olympic athletes have high expectations for themselves and that their coaches don't have high expectations for them, you're wrong. They do. And they more often than not rise to those expectations. But you know, we just finished the Olympics. Look at some of those people who worked so hard to get to the Olympics and had the expectations of coming home with gold or silver or bronze. Look at the ice skaters. So I happen to like ice skating. My daughter used to ice skate. And so I watch the ice skating pretty carefully. How many of those people worked so hard, had the expectation of getting to the Olympics, and then when they got to the Olympics, have the expectation of winning, get in there and fall? It happens. It happens in front of millions of people around the world because we're all watching it on TV, right? How disappointing is that? And then they're the ones who actually get injured. How disappointing is that? But this happened, in front of millions of people, so even more disappointing. But we all have disappointments like that. I have seen dancers drop people, during lifts, during a premiere. I have seen people be disappointed because they submitted a book proposal to 50 agents and get rejected by every single one of them. I've seen people disappointed because they asked for a promotion or a new job and didn't get it, or they applied for a job and didn't get it. I have personally been disappointed by not getting a book deal that I thought I would get, by not producing enough income for myself, despite my expectations for myself. So disappointment is a fact of having expectations, and I don't want you to stop having expectations because I want you to rise to your expectations, okay? But so that leaves us with an issue. What do we do about the disappointment? Because inevitably we're going to be disappointed when we don't meet our own expectations or the expectations of others. But I'd like to focus more on your expectations for you because that's what's helping you level up. So what happens? I actually have 7 tips to help you over disappointment. Okay, and I've written about this on my blog this week as well. And I actually have some paper here because I couldn't remember all 7 of them. So the first tip for you for dealing with disappointment is actually to see the event as just one small blip in your life, one small moment or event, because that's all it is. And I saw somebody recently talking to someone who was very disappointed about something that had happened. And I remember them saying, you think it's this big. And maybe it is right this moment, but it's really this small. It's not this big, it's this small. It's not that big, you're making it big. It's just a little blip on the way to wherever you're going. Just a little blip. That's it. I remember him saying it's not deep. You're making it deep, which is about importance. Don't give it so much significance. Don't give the event so much importance because it's really just this little thing that happened and yet feels like a huge failure. But by tomorrow, it won't be anymore. And as a matter of fact, most people have already forgotten it. So the more significance you give it, the bigger the disappointment and the more likely that you're going to get stuck and not move forward towards your goals, towards your aspirations, your expectations for yourself. And we don't want that to happen, which is why I'm talking about how to deal with disappointment, because I want you to keep expecting the most of yourself. Okay, so the other thing, so we talked about seeing it as a small blip in your career or your life, not giving it much importance. And now let's talk about letting it go as fast as possible. The longer that you actually hang on to this disappointment, this shame, this embarrassment, this feeling like your life is over, your career is over because of whatever it is that happened, the longer it's going to take you to keep moving forward. And I want you to keep moving forward towards your goals. I want you to set new expectations and keep moving forward. So that goes along with getting back to work. Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's, practicing for the next Olympics or the next competition or the next performance or the next book proposal or the next speech you give or anything like that. I have a friend who, she fell off the stage during a speech. She got so excited, she actually fell off. So, that can be pretty embarrassing. So you get out, you start practicing again. Just practice. Get out there, do it again, do another talk. Do you think she didn't get back on the stage? Of course she got back on the stage. She got back up there and she finished her talk. And now she's got a great story to tell that's quite funny. But, it reminds me of equestrians. So you may or may not know that I used to ride hunters and jumpers and thoroughbreds primarily, and I would compete for the national finals in equitation. And I actually never made it, I have to say. That was a disappointment in my life because my expectation was that I would ride. At the time it was at Madison Square Garden. I thought I would do that, but I didn't. But anyway, that's not the point. There were lots of people I knew who did qualify to ride at Madison Square Garden. Now it's, I think, in New Jersey. Anyway, and they would get there and they'd make their little circle and they'd head for the first jump and the horse would stop in his tracks and that was the end. They never jumped anything. They never did anything and they were finished because they weren't allowed to jump any more fences if they didn't make it over the first one. Does that mean that they don't ever go jump another fence? No. And it's what I was really getting at, actually, I got a little off track, was with my friend falling off the stage, like being an equestrian. When you fall off a horse, the wisdom is get back on the horse immediately. And I can tell you that I have been in a show ring and my horse stopped and I went over the fence and he didn't. Or I crashed into the fence. And you know what? If you don't have anything broken, you're back on the horse and you finish the round because unless you're at the finals, you're actually allowed 3 chances, okay? So, but if you fall off, you're gonna get back on and ride. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to get back to work. I want you to be working on whatever it is where you've been disappointed. You're gonna now get up and work on it again. You're gonna set a new expectation and head towards that. Okay, so the other thing is that you're going to learn from it. When we have so-called failures, which are disappointing, we don't meet our expectations, we need to learn from that and keep going. So what is it about whatever happened that you can find a lesson in it that's going to help you do better next time, right? Did you have too much energy wrapped up in this thing so that then there was so much pressure that it made it harder to succeed? Did you not write your query letter well enough or your book proposal well enough? Did you not get it edited? Is there something you can learn so that you can go out there and next time not put so much pressure on yourself? Make sure it gets edited. Have somebody listen to your speech, whatever it is. Now that you've fallen off the stage, you can actually set a line somewhere or put something in front of you so you make sure that you're aware and present on stage, right? So what is it? What are you going to learn? And from that learning, do better next time. Set a different expectation and meet that. Okay, the next one, which is number 6, is forgive. Forgive yourself, number 1. You need to forgive yourself for whatever it is that happened. It happened, and there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't make you a bad person. So just forgive yourself. And if someone else has disappointed you, not met your expectations, you need to forgive them too, because in that case, your expectations really have nothing to do with them. They may not even known what you expected of them. So forgive them and move on. But when it comes to expectations for yourself, forgive yourself and keep going. Okay, the last one, number 7, is to let go of shame. Brene Brown has done such a great job of educating us about shame. And I've seen it over and over again. When somebody doesn't meet their own expectations or doesn't meet the expectations of others, and they're very aware of those expectations, so let's say like an Olympic athlete, or just in whatever case, they feel like they've failed. They didn't meet their expectations. They feel like they did it wrong. They failed. What happens is that they're ashamed. Not just embarrassed, they actually feel shame about it. And when that happens, typically you don't really want to talk to anyone about it because you feel ashamed. And so you don't want to fess up about it. You don't want to admit what you've done. But that's a huge mistake. And the best thing you can do is to go talk to someone about it, tell them about it, explain it, rehash it, get their feedback. But maybe you don't even need anything from them except to talk. And I've seen this where that's the turning point for someone, is when they actually speak to someone about what happened and they can release the shame. And that's so important because shame will eat away at you, and that will ruin your career. That will ruin your life. So don't let that happen. If you feel ashamed about whatever this unmet expectation was, and you feel that disappointment along with shame, speak to someone and let go of that shame. Okay, so the 7 that we just went through were: see the event as a small blip in your career or life. Don't give the event more, the disappointment, the lack of meeting your expectation, too much importance. Let it go as fast as possible. Let the disappointment go as fast as possible. Get back to work. Learn from it. Forgive, mostly yourself, and let go of the shame. So with those 7 tips, I hope that you will see that it's possible to get from an event where you didn't meet your expectations and you feel disappointed back to work, back to moving forward towards a new expectation, or maybe the same expectation, right? See that expectation as an aspiration, an ambition, because that's really what it is. It's your ambition to meet that expectation, to get to that level, to achieve whatever it is you're going to achieve, right? And when you practice these things for the little events, these tips I gave you, these 7 tips, if you practice them for the little events, what's going to happen is then when something big happens where you have a big disappointment, you're going to know how to handle it, and you're going to get out of that disappointment fast and start moving towards your next ambition, your next goal, your next expectation. So practice on the small disappointments, getting out of them really fast. And that's going to help you with the big disappointments to move on. Because if you can't move on, then you're stuck. And that's going to have the big effect on your life and on your career, right? So we want that not to happen. So practice these 7 tips so that whenever you have a big disappointment, you can slough it off, and just keep going. Because I want you to achieve your goals. I want you to achieve, your wildest dreams. I want you to meet your expectations and live into those ambitions, right? That's why you're here. And that's what I want to support you in. I want to help you get from where you are to where you want to go, despite any so-called failures, which really are not failures at all, just an opportunity for you to learn something and keep moving on, right? To do better next time. So that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to keep moving on no matter what, and to achieve your goals, to live into those ambitions, and to meet your expectations. So if I can help you with that in any way, I hope you'll go over to ninaamir.com and check out what I have to offer, or just go to ninaamir.com/free session and sign up for a free strategy session with me. Yeah, 1 hour certified high performance coaching strategy session, just you and me figuring out how you can get from where you are now to where you want to be in life, right? Now, if you're an author, you can also check out my author coaching programs, and the Nonfiction Writers University. But for anyone listening to this, I would love to help you get from where you are to where you want to go in life, to help you combine your passion with your purpose so you get inspired to action, because that's how you're going to achieve more inspired results. You will, but you have to get out of your own way. And disappointment is one way we get in our own way. We get stuck in disappointment. So I want to help you get out of your own way so you can live to your fullest and achieve your potential. So if that interests you, as I said, go on over to ninaamir.com or fill out the application for that free strategy session at ninaamir.com/free session. So that's it for today. I hope you set your expectations high and you move through all your disappointments quickly, and that you achieve all your goals, that you achieve more inspired results. Bye, everyone.